What is going on, YouTube? Going live today for YouTube Play of the Day. Just a little bit behind this morning, so wanted to pop on here and get you guys a chance, obviously, to get some plays, get some free plays. Obviously, an amazing slate today. I actually really like this MLB slate. We've been kind of locked in on football, so obviously that takes precedent of all of our past the prop games and shows. So. Thought we'd just pop on here. I'm just going to send out a tweet now and get this thing rolling here for today. So I guess we can just recap because I haven't been on a live in a while. So it's been an MLB live. Last MLB show, Hunter Brown 5Ks, Pablo Lopez 6Ks. That was our 100th play of the season. So that moved us up to 58 and 42, 13.84 units on the year. Obviously, when you're up in baseball, you feel pretty good about it. Obviously, it's a tough sport to cap. So let me link right here. Let's get it. All right. So going to be pretty quick here. Obviously, I'm going to let a couple people pop in. I think we have like 4 or 5 in here live. If you could hit that like button, we always appreciate you so far. And we will get it rolling here, obviously, as more people trickle in. If you have questions, obviously drop them in the chat. It's really the biggest reason why I do these shows is just because I know it's a big slate. Just bring your questions in there, and hopefully we'll be able to make you guys some money. So pulling these up. Just going to share my screen for my first play here. Heading over to DraftKings. I will be starting off with the Twins race to 4, and I'll also have the first 5 over 4.5 in the Yankees game. Those will be my 2 plays for today. Race to 4. I like these lines when I don't want to go all the way up to the team total, and honestly, the Twins team total is 4.5. The juice is still there, and I really trust Pablo Lopez, right? So I think this is the best way to attack this game. And Pablo Lopez has been, nothing short of fantastic, right? He's got a 2.16 ERA in the second half of the season. Slugging percentage is way down, which for him is very important. 18 home runs in the first half of the season, only 4 so far through 58 innings of the second half. I like this spot for him specifically against his Angels team. The Angels obviously are not the best. They came out firing against Festa and put up some runs on him there. But honestly, Festa's a hit or miss guy for me. I took his Ks yesterday because he has been missing bats, but he's still a really inexperienced pitcher. This is Pablo Lopez we're talking about. We're talking about a dude who's been in the league for a long time. He's got good numbers. Obviously, so far this year, he's got a 26% K rate, 43% ground ball rate, which I think is important because it is really hot here in the Midwest today. And I mean, he's been absolutely dealing. Also, Griffin Canning on the other side. I do not mind fading Mr. Griffin Canning, especially for only 4 runs. My thing is when you look at Canning, he's obviously specifically going to be rolling with changeup, slider, sinker. Usually, that's usually the top pitch mix for Griffin Canning. 4-seamer at 37%, changeup 27, slider 23. The expected numbers are pretty off the charts, honestly. 528 expected slug against his 4-seamer, 408 against the slider, 36, 46, and 44% hard hit rate on those. So he's giving up barrels. And I'm thinking we're going to see a few more barrels here tonight. We look at his hard hit rate so far this year, 42%, a 4.77 expected ERA, not numbers I'm really feeling great about. And this Twins team has been good to me, right? Especially with these lefties, a lot of switch hitting. I love that they put Carlos Santana at the top of this order. I love that he's just an on-base machine. Hopefully Willie Castro's okay. I know he's been hit or miss here in terms of injuries. I know he got hurt in the last game, so he came out. But he still got power at the catcher position with Jeffers. Wallner, right-handed specialist, just smoking those dudes. I just think this is too much power here in this lineup for a guy like Griffin Canning, whose expected slugging numbers are way too high for me. He's got a 4.45 expected slug on the year. Just not numbers that I am very confident in when you have a four-seam fastball, you're throwing 30-something%, 35%, and you're only getting an 18% whiff rate. So it's going to be a nice day out in Minnesota. And one guy I can trust, one guy I don't feel great about keeping that ball in the ballpark. So really like this spot for the Twins on this day. If you want to play team total, I don't mind it. They have a great bullpen. It helps it out a little bit as well. But this just – I feel like if I'm going to play it, this is the easiest way to play it for the juice. And obviously like the bullpen too to hold it down if we need it. Ohtani props. I am not betting Ohtani. I am playing Ohtani in fantasy this week. I am in the semifinals of my fantasy championship right now. So I am playing against Ohtani. Obviously the stolen base last night does not make me feel good. But his numbers are just too high. I can't bet where he's at right now, especially when you're facing off against a competent pitcher, right? Kyle Hendricks is not a competent pitcher. I understand people going there yesterday. He was the most exposed guy in DFS last night, and it's warranted against Kyle Hendricks. Shout out to the Cubs for obviously cashing my ticket yesterday on the over 9.5. I ended up playing that over on action. Make sure you guys are popping over there and checking out those plays. I try to put all the plays that I have here over on action to try to be my best at kind of keeping that there to give you guys just a spot where you can see all my plays. I know I started it about 3.5 weeks ago working with those guys and having them track everything. And, we're up 11 units in MLB. So feeling really, really good about it and rolling. Matt, hope all is going well, man. Hopefully we'll get you on Pass the Prop here soon. Glad that you got your money. I saw that tweet, and I saw the other guy tweeting your tweet or your ticket. So I'm happy that everything was resolved there. Obviously, we're happy that you got your money. So, yes, Don, I play DFS every day. I play MLB every day. And I do NFL as well. So I do NBA, but not as locked in as I do on MLB. I'm in it for the grind, man. I'm always all in on these. So, Mike, I'm actually going to be talking about this game in 1 second. If you give me 1 second here, I will get to that game. I actually love that game. Yo, PBS, any thoughts on Madinsky under 1.5 strikeouts? I believe Pirates, right? That is Pirates pitcher Madinsky in that game. Oh, man. Oh, I don't know if I want to go there. Obviously, you're not going to get any outs numbers. Do you trust Miami? That's the thing is, I mean, if he throws 6 outs, do you trust not 2 of them to K, right? Even if you throw 1, his Miami team is kind of rough. I am not going to be betting that. That's a niche market that's a little bit sample size wise, variance wise. I'm just not feeling a 1.5 strikeout props. I'll go 2.5 on some of these guys. I'll go 2.5 on Miles Michaelis. I'll go 2.5 on some of these other dudes, but I'm not going to go 1.5. Unfortunately, it's going to be a tough one there. So, as always, if you guys hit that like button, I really appreciate it. Recapping that first play was Twins race to 4. It's under game props for you guys. And guess who the last bet we had, right? Recapping. I know there wasn't many people here in the beginning at the first couple minutes when I did my recap. Pablo Lopez was a part of our last win, our 100th bet of the season. We're at 13.84 units through 100 bets so far this year. And I am ready to roll here. I'm going to be rolling with the Royals first 5 over 4.5. If you want to take the full game, I'm fine. This Yankees bullpen is so – I've always been on the wrong side of it, right? They've been lights out when I've taken over. They've been crap when I try to take the under on the team total on the other side. Just give me this matchup here with Seth Lugo and Marcus Stroman. I think it's going to be a great hitting environment, obviously, here in Yankee Stadium. Marcus Stroman is actually the exact opposite of Nestor Cortez. Nestor Cortez is lights out in Yankee Stadium. We have almost a 5 ERA through 76 innings of sample size here for Marcus Stroman. My biggest issue is when you're specifically a ground ball guy, you're not missing that many bats. You can't be giving up the power that Stroman's been giving up. He has a 471 slugging percentage in Yankee Stadium so far this year, almost a 5 ERA, 15 bombs given up. That's just too many for me. He's been terrible in the second half of the season. 5.45 ERA, 481 slug. He's just not getting swings and misses. Obviously, he's never been a huge swing and miss guy. He's not a high strikeout rate guy, but A lot of power in this Royals lineup. I really wish Vinny P was in this lineup. I would feel much, much better about it. But he has a 4.69 xFIP against lefties, 4.52 against righties. So he's giving up bombs either way, right? 1.1 to lefties, 1.1, actually 1.17 to lefties, 1.10 to righties. Excuse me. Sorry, I have allergies are kicking my butt today. But I have an issue with just the pop and the no strikeout portion of this. On the season, 4.93 expected ERA, almost a 40% hard hit with only a 17% K rate. We're still seeing almost a 10% walk rate from Stroman. Just a lot of guys on base, no swing and miss, short park. I like the Royals today. I had them in DFS yesterday. They did pretty well for me with Sal Perez. And I feel pretty good about them today. So 4.5 feels just about right. Seth Lugo on the other side. Again, pretty good numbers, almost a 4 expected ERA. So we're expecting a little bit of negative regression, but 39% hard hit rate on the season against Lugo. And then you go up against these spots. You look at his whiff rates and his swings and misses. Curveball, obviously, his best one. That's a 35% whiff rate. That is specifically thrown to lefties, right? And so you have Juan Soto there, Rizzo, Verdugo, but a lot of pop from the right. Obviously, you got Aaron Judge. You got Gleyber Torres, who's playing fantastic as of late. Wells is in there, obviously, from the left side. He hit 2 bombs yesterday. You got Volpe still there. There's just a lot of power here that I don't want to be trusting Seth Lugo in this spot, right? Especially when you look at Seth Lugo's numbers, and it's just when you watch him pitch, you're not as comfortable as what his ERA and everything like says it is, right? He's got really good numbers, but I do not trust him here in this spot against the Yankees, especially when he's not really getting, those high swing and miss rate stuff, especially to right-handed bats. On the road this year, 3.21 ERA. I don't like this spot for him at all. We have almost a 4 xFIP against lefties and righties. And specifically, I think both teams could score 5 runs in the first 5. And those are something that you can't really say about a lot of these numbers in a lot of these games. I know Seth Lugo's been great in terms of numbers on the outside, but I don't know. I can't get there. He's got an 81 left on base percentage to lefties this year. That's scary, man. That's not going to happen. We're not going to see a 80% left on base. And we're starting to see the regression happen here in the second half. He's got a 6.5 K per 9 in the second half, almost 2.5 walks in there, right? And lastly, his left on base percentage is coming down. It's down to 60 in the second half of the season. Negative regression and a 4.2 xFIP in there as well in the second half. So it's just, I know this Royals team's hurt. I love Vinny P. You look at Tommy Pham's been fantastic out of the leadoff spot. I love Maikel Garcia. I obviously really like Michael Massey down in like the 7-8 hole now that they're kind of putting those guys down there. It's Renfroe. It's those middle guys. It's hopefully Freddie Fermin in the lineup tonight. Hopefully he's in the lineup tonight. Melendez, right? All of these guys, they can put some pressure on Stroman. I think we can start to see him crack a little bit early. And when you look at Lugo, so far this year, he gets better as the game goes on, right? That first time through the order, I think we're going to get to him right away. He's got a 4.22 xFIP in the first time through the lineup. I think that this is a tough lineup to start slow against in terms of the Yankees here. And I'm expecting, take Aaron Judge walk at this point, though. I don't think he's throwing to him tonight. I would be very surprised. So to recap, we got Twins, race to 4, -130. Royals, first 5, over 4.5 at -120. If you guys have questions, drop them in there quick. I would say, Mike, that I think this is a good spot. I do think Royals plus money. I would almost prefer rolling the Royals like alternate team total up. I think that would be a better spot for me to try to roll bigger plus money. I'm a big fan of this Royals team, but I think it's going to be a hit parade there tonight. And I don't know if I want to trust that Royals bullpen as much as they've been doing a lot better as of late. Don, yeah, Ohtani, when you're talking DFS, we're talking kind of a different type of game here. I know you talk DFS, but you're talking DFS. Ohtani's got to put up 25 at a $7K price tag to pay off, right? I mean, I never play Shillelagh, and I hate it, and I'm nervous every time I play a slate that I don't have him, which is, I think I played him twice this year. And yeah, he can crush a slate, but $7,000 price tag on a first baseman outfielder, tough to get to. And that's what I mean. I understand you're talking more DFS, but for props, the man's been an absolute beast, right? I know in the last month it hasn't been there as what it was at the beginning of the year, but yeah, it's very tough to want to pay up for him at that price tag. So yes, I agree, Dimitro, for sure. I know the Royals are having him there in that spot. Yes, I do not mind this look. I think my biggest issue with it is the second half of the season walk percentage has been a little bit higher, which kind of makes me a little bit nervous. When you look at his numbers, he's got a 6.2% walk rate here in the second half. And then obviously when you have the Yankees, Soto and Judge are two of the top walk guys in the MLB. Kind of makes me a little bit nervous for this spot. If anything, maybe an under outs, if they're going to give me like a plus 130, 140 on the 17.5, because Lugo has been going 6 innings pretty much every time he's out there. If they're going to give me a pretty nice plus money tag on the under 17.5, I think they could run up his pitch count in terms of the walks. They're very good against righties in terms of walks. I believe they're the number 1 team in baseball at around 11%, because I did look at that a couple of weeks ago. I don't know how much that's changed, but 11% walk rate against right-handed pitching, I think could really push up his pitch count. So if anybody wants to drop that, the outs prop for Seth Lugo, I'd be very interested in seeing what that is at. Hopefully it's at 17.5, maybe minus 170, minus 180 to the over. I think that would be a good spot to grab an under, just because the Yankees just make you work from the first pitch of the ballgame. So, but I do not mind that look there. I will give it a couple more minutes. If we have any more questions, this would be the time to drop them. Obviously, I recap both plays. And I'm going to take a look. There's a couple other spots here that I am looking at, kind of a couple long shots. Yes, it is. Very shitty. Very, very shitty. I agree with you on that. I'm looking at FanDuel again. I really wish they would have the K leaders. They have not been dropping those lately on me, which is kind of frustrating. But highest scoring team, Guardians are 12-1. I do not mind that. 13-1 on the Twins. I think that's a good look. Baltimore Red Sox is the number 1 price in terms of highest scoring game. That's interesting too, since it's only a 9 total. But all right, let's taking a look here if I'm missing anything. I don't believe so. I think I have everything in here. I don't see any more questions. So, again, guys, I tried to get to everything. If you guys have any more questions, drop them in the chat throughout the day. I should be able to get to them. It's nice on these Tuesday slates. They're not like the Wednesday slates where they're all day. They're all right now, right? We're going to get all of them at like that 5:40. They're all going to start around then. So, if you guys want or have more questions for me, drop them in the chat. I really appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving the channel. Obviously, Stu is cooking. I'm feeling pretty good where we're at in the MLB. I'm trying to push towards that 20-unit mark to clear the season. Probably one of my best seasons in terms of MLB. So feel great about that as well. Pushing around 11 over on the Action app as well. So Dimitro has one final thing. Any final thoughts on Seattle Moneyline? I do not mind Seattle Moneyline. I only take George Kirby, Bryce Miller, and Brian Wu at home, even though Brian Wu has just been an absolute machine. My biggest issue is there's just so much variance in Yu Darvish. Like Yu Darvish, would you be surprised if Yu Darvish went out there and K'd 8 of these dudes? I wouldn't. This Mariners team is so dog shit. I hate this team. I hate their offense. I will never bet on Seattle Moneyline. I will only bet on the pitchers. I will only bet on the pitchers of Seattle or the guys on the other side. It's just George Kirby's facing a Padres team who doesn't strike out. I don't know if you noticed this, but a lot of the games I'm taking under strikeouts, it's usually against the Padres because they are so hard to strike out. Even without Hung Sum Kim, it's tough, right? It's tough because he's another guy who's a super low strikeout rate, runs the base as well. I wish he was back in there, but when you have Luis Arias, Xander Bogaerts is a low strikeout rate guy. Cronenworth has cut him down this season. That's usually where I go. It's just with a guy like you, Darvish, right now, I would not touch that money line with a 10-foot pole. Would not even want to, because I think you could see Darvish get blown up for 5 and then you feel great about it. But do I think the Mariners would score that much? Not really. I have no interest in ever betting Seattle. I know it's pretty harsh, but that offense has screwed me way too many times, and I've learned my lesson. Yeah, Detroit got him, and the thing is look at Bryce Miller, look at George Kirby. Their numbers at home are absurd. They're absurd. Bryce Miller's a top 5 pitcher. I won't say 5, top 10 pitcher in the MLB if you throw him at home every game. Strikeout rate's up 10% over his road games. His ERA is sub 3, right? I sub 2 in some of those in the last 10. The dude's been lights out at home, right? So the Seattle guys, I think that would be my way of playing it. Would be taking a earned runs under. Would be taking even the Padres' first 5 team total under, something like that, to back Kirby there. But you can't take strikeouts. The Padres just don't K, and it's really hard for me to want to bet any team or any pitcher to strike out a ton of these Padres because they're very, very good. So I believe that is all we got in here, guys. Again, as always, if you could hit that like button, I really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow. We will be back for Thursday Night Football. I'll probably have a couple MLB plays in there as well, just because, it's only one game. At least we get a good one. We get a primetime game. Miami versus Buffalo should be a fun one. As always, like I said, drop questions in throughout the day. I get to everything usually. If there's not a question, I usually drop a like on all of the comments. So also follow me over on the Action app. I'm going to try and continue to put all of these plays over there so you guys can obviously tail and follow over there with me. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. I know this is a late notice thing. I appreciate all the support as always. Dimitro, yeah, dude, got to do it. Padres, just take the under Ks against them, man. They're so good at putting the balls in play. Guardians, too. Those are the 2 teams. Just do it every time. Feel pretty good about it. Royals right up there, number 3, lowest strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. Maybe it's a Stroman under strikeout night. There's another thing to throw out there. So thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you guys are following over on Twitter. And be ready for Pass the Prop. Have that notification bell on over here. We appreciate you. Thank you. Any questions, drop them in there. See you tomorrow.